Sin. We all know what that is. Sin's an ugly word, and it's an ugly thing to look at. We see sin all around the world. We see it in other people, and we see it really in ourselves. Think about all the sin that there is in the world. Sin such as murder and adultery and theft and gluttony and gossip and hate. Man, it's everywhere. And you really think about it, one of the things that sin does is it mars us on the inside. It takes something that's supposed to be beautiful and it makes it ugly. Sin also leaves guilt. Guilt's a rough thing to deal with. There's a lot of people all around the world that carry guilt. Guilt that constantly reminds them of what they did wrong. Guilt that constantly reminds them of where they went. You know, one of the things that I've come to see about God is that God doesn't intend for us to spend all of our years carrying around guilt. God is a God that loves to forgive. God is a God that loves to take all that sin away and give us a fresh start. You know, I like some of the things that the Bible says about forgiveness. And at one point talks about this idea that God takes our sin and removes it from us as far as the east is from the west. I also like the idea that God, it says, forgives us and remembers our sin no more. In other words, it's not on the forefront of his mind. He doesn't dwell on it. It's gone. It's done away with. You know, when I think about that, I guess probably my favorite thing that comes to my mind about our sin and God's forgiveness is this. It's Psalm 51:6, and just listen to what God said here. God said this through David. It says, actually it's in verse 7 of Psalm 51, "Cleanse me with hyssop, and I will be clean. Wash me, and I will be whiter than snow." I want you to picture this for a minute. This maybe represents all of our hearts. All of our hearts have things in it that really should not be there. And what God does when God forgives us is He just wipes our heart clean and erases all that sin away. This is what God does. One by one, God removes it. God wipes it away. God cleanses our heart, and God makes us beautiful on the inside. We can't do this ourselves, but I'm glad God does it for us. So rather than carrying around guilt and shame and regret, just go to God about your sin. Talk with Him about it. Confess it to Him. Receive His forgiveness and let Him erase your sin away, and let Him make your heart pure and white as snow. That's God's answer to sin.